But isn't that, yeah, isn't that like the crux of the whole problem though? Because a lot of these church dudes, I just think are not. I mean, obviously with exceptions, but I just don't think that they're really setting these women on fire. Do you know what I mean?
No, and you can't. And the church will say you don't need that, but that's like setting a guy. No, like that's setting a guy up for a lifetime of like nitpick because she's not happy to be there.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, and this is again, you know, without repeating it, but I mean, I think sex is important. I mean, I don't think sex is the only. Even I, you know, degenerate as I am, I don't think sex is quite the only thing in a relationship. You know, she can also cook as well. But
you see, that's the thing. That's what a lot of
she doesn't even need to cook. This bloody Uber Eats. What are you talking about?
That's what a lot of guys do. Is like, she touched my pee-pee. Oh, she's wifey. Like, that's the only standard.
Yeah, but if you don't
have.
exactly, but if you don't have any experience, you do that. Because I mean, the first girl I basically, you know, when I got with, I mean, I was like, oh my god, you know, she was absolutely so many red flags. It was like a Chinese communist parade. Do you know what I mean? But I couldn't see any of it at the time because I was so naive.
Yeah, but aren't those ones fun? Like,
well, I screen for red flags now.
The face of danger.
I screen for red flags now. I just cut it off earlier, you know. But I mean,
there you go.
Yeah,
you don't avoid them. You're just like, okay, here's my out.
Yeah, tattoos.
What do you give? How long do you give a girl with like a ton of red flags? How many? She get a month?
Yeah.
Months,
so there
months?
was a girl at the beginning of last year in London, and I was dating her, and she was really pretty actually. She was really cute, and she was for whatever reason she was actually quite into me, and she was in her 20s. Loads of tattoos on the hands and stuff. Very posh, but sort of, you know, very elegant. But she'd been in rehab. She'd had a bit of a coke issue before. She's a bit of a party girl and all this kind of stuff. But we had a good vibe. No, but she was also. It's hard to describe, but the way she looked and everything, very petite, very pretty and stuff. And she was my. I mean, I was like, yeah, those red flags are, you know, this is this is doing it. But I cut it off after about 3 or 4 weeks because I was just like, it's not going to end well. Do you know what I mean? But the only reason I did that was because of experience, because I've been down that road before. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that was my first rodeo, I'd have been like, oh, let's get married, you know?
Yeah, we don't acknowledge the fact that this whole Christ pill movement, as perfect as it sounds like it will be, like for any Christian, right? It never was a thing. It wasn't a thing even in the biblical times. It's not going to be a thing now, and it's not going to be a thing later. Not until the return of Christ, right? So
maybe that's
this
Chase.
whole you know, not saying that they shouldn't strive to. It's not saying that they shouldn't strive to try to be that way. That's fine if that's what they want to do, but know that they're still not going to meet. It's not going to all happen.
But my dad says to just expect nothing from people all the time, and my dad told me to expect the worst out of everyone. So if they surprise you, then you're happy.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I feel like that's what you have to think of
expectations.
with this society is you just I would just expect the worst, and if it goes better, I'll be happy.
Yeah, but I mean,
and I'll do it with a smile on my face.
Yeah,
like,
it's all about positivity.
It's almost like having a covert contract.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it is. It's like if you expect things from people, you're having a covert contract with them.
I just think any solution where the solution is basically we're going to change the entire fabric of Western society is problematic. I just don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then everyone in the not West is like, oh, we have it. Like all the Muslim countries and stuff. They're like, our women aren't like that. Oh, I live in an all Muslim area. Oh, yeah, they have a reputation.
No, those women are like that. They just can't necessarily operate the way that they want to.
Oh, a lot of them still do. It's coming. I just from the show, I get guys that are actually from all of these traditional countries where the women aren't like that. And they just keep telling me they're exactly like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Women are women. You know, we're women.
Yeah. Somebody says here, what was a good one? I saw something good here. I'll stop going to Colombia when I find a non-slutty woman in America. I mean, that's a little bit naive, man, because, I mean, Colombian women, they're beautiful, they're great, but, you know, they like to...
I mean, it's
your turn. To get around, you know.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I wouldn't necessarily... I wouldn't say Colombia is the answer, as beautiful as those girls are. Certainly, and he was talking before about bringing her to America. I mean, that's a fucking disaster. She's going to be off with Chad, like, after 20, 25 minutes. That's what happens in Miami. They're all from, like, Colombia and Venezuela, aren't they?
Yeah, like it's like if you're gonna go to another country and find a traditional woman, stay there.
Sorry?
Stay there. Don't bring them those traditional women back to America.
Yeah.
they'll just become like normal women.
They both do good for society. Some people need to decide for themselves. Religion is morally based, and Myron is logically based, especially modern times. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the red pill and Christianity is not that far off from each other.
Well,
You know?
it's
It's really not if you look at the basic principles of it.
But what
a
do
lot
you
of
think?
like a lot of the patriarchal principles
Yeah,
from the red pill are found in the
Yes.
Bible. So I say from a principle base, there's a lot more in common than they disagree.
but you talk about
Now-
it, don't you? You talk about the natural order of man, woman,
Yeah.
child,
Yeah.
and how that's been subverted. But your message wouldn't be, so we all need to go back to that. Or it probably would be, but
no, there's like marriage itself in 2023. If you have a kid, that's a feminist institution. You're on the hook for child support. You're on the hook for alimony. So, what they're saying is participate. If you don't participate in this feminist institution, you're not a real man. You're not man enough. You need to take the God pill. And there's no way for a guy to be in this society and have a traditional marriage. Not really, because the woman can leave at any point.
yeah.
You can't, like, there's no traditional marriage in 2024.
Yeah.
You might get lucky. I hope every guy watching does. I wish you well. I hope you find your trad virgin in Kansas, and just have a great time. I just
And
want
this idea that every guy has to get married, that's not a thing either.
Well,
I mean,
but these guys would all hate the MGTOW guys, wouldn't they? You know, the men going their own way guys. But
I think there's a group of guys that are just never gonna get.
Yeah.
I mean, for maybe they're
the
too
Bible
lazy
even talks
or
about guys not
maybe,
getting married.
What?
I mean, the Apostle Paul, who was single, says it's better for you to be like me, but if you can't withstand sexual immorality, then it's better for you to get married. So the Bible says, hey, yeah, it's better for you to stay single than get married.
Well, on that note.
Well, I
Troy's
don't know.
like, well, there you go. There's my scripture.
I just think every guy's got to pick for themselves. There is going to be a group of guys that says, I want a wife and children. I think that's great. There's going to be a group of guys that say, I don't want to learn all this game Riz stuff. That's too much work. I'm going to just do my thing. I saw a guy that's like living in the woods by himself. Do you see that tweet I have?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And then there's going to be a group of guys that said, I worked my ass off to get in the top 20% of men. I'm gonna screw these hoes.
But one thing, no, absolutely. But one thing that is true is that men's rights activists have been around for like 25 years, haven't they? And trying to change structures and everything, and they've completely failed. And they're trying to do basically what Chase is trying to do, aren't they? Which is like change the system. So
he wants to. They want to change like men's rights. I think want to change it to be more equal, so 50-50 custody.
Oh, right, yeah.
Where I think Chase wants like a theocracy or something.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. Little different, but yeah.
Like,
I know, and that's the thing. They're like, just start a men's lobbying group. I'm like, good luck. I've talked to some of these guys. Good luck. Have fun.
The thing is, like, it's not going to work.
Well,
men will sell themselves out. Look, a hot piece of ass tells you to vote a certain way, and the next thing you know,
I'm
we
voting
got
Biden.
women's rights.
I'm straight there.
You can't even vote.
Well, I'd get a
let's
passport. I'd get a
face it.
green card and vote Biden
Like,
if I had to.
It's like this. Like, how did women get the right to vote? Some hot piece of ass probably tempted some senator.
Like Emily Pankhurst.
And you know what? He gave in, and next thing you know, we got women voting.
Well, so the only way it would work is if Pearl's, dream came true, and then voting for women was banned, and then because at the moment,
Then we got it.
Because
You know,
at the
we-
moment
we've
it's
given
just
them power. You can't expect them to hand over that power back. Hey, can you give us that freedom
Well,
that we gave you back, please?
no, exactly. We got like over 50% of the population at least, plus all the other dudes who are going to oppose it. I mean, it's never going to go through unless you form a militia coup or something, or stop all women from voting. Which is
You have to take it back by force.
I have an unpopular opinion that if women want to be housewives, they should pay for it. The average woman has 2 children. If you want to stay home while you raise, let's say, 5 years, I mean, if you plan right and start saving from the time you're young, the average kid is 31. You've had 10 years to save, chica.
They used to have a dowry system.
I'm just saying. I'm like, I don't.
What? So she should pay to have the privilege of being a housewife?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, why not? I mean,
yeah.
we
Isn't
fought,
that like a dowry system?
you
That's
get
pretty
to,
much
you
what the
get
dowry
as a
system was.
woman, as a young woman, you out earn your male counterparts in your early 20s. You can go into sales, make more money.
Yeah.
Be a YouTuber, make more money. There's so many ways to monetize beauty as a chick. Without OnlyFans, it doesn't have to be sex work. I'm like, why can't women pay for their, if they want to be housewives, why are they entitled to it? Because we keep voting for all these policies, we keep raising our taxes. Now you need 2 incomes, like for most people. So I'm like, well, I mean, you have an extra decade to save for your 2 kids, which is like, and it's 1.
So who do they pay? Well, they pay the husband at the end. They go, here you go, thank you.
No, they just pay like half the rent or half.
Oh,
of
right,
every, you know?
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, we fought for this. This is what we wanted, you know. So go ahead.
Well, you know, I don't think the feminists really thought it was free, did they?
I'll pay for my couple years of being a housewife. I'll pay for it.
I once dated a girl for 8 months. That was tough. I feel for you, man. That must have been tough. I've done about 8 minutes before. How can she pay if she's not supposed to go to college or work? Pick one. That's the rate.
No, I don't say women shouldn't work. I say they shouldn't work when the kids are young. Okay, but I mean, when you're, what is up with these girls that like don't want to work when you're 16, 7? If the average marriage is 30, what, you're not going to work for 12 years? Okay, let's say you get married at 25. You're not going to work for 7 years. Let's say you get married at 20. I mean, that's still like 5. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying that the average marriage, the average life trajectory of a woman is to get married at 30, 1 to 2 kids. They're in public school by the time they're like 5, 4, I don't know, 6, whatever it is. What are you doing all day? I say go, if your kids are in public school, I mean, go get a job, chica. Like, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
On it. I don't think children are an excuse to be lazy. And a lot of chicks give themselves all of this credit. It really irritates me. All this credit. I'm so special, amazing, and awesome because I watch my one kid all day that's in public school.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you homeschool them, that's a whole different thing. But it's one kid in public school that nannies are paid like $12 an hour for. Is it that hard?
Well, most mothers don't want to be parents.
What they want the Instagram moment, but they don't actually want the responsibility.
Yeah, it's like you know, Matt Walsh. They're just fuck trophies.
Yeah.
I think that may sadly be true. Daniel Weatherman says, force won't be necessary. This is about changing society. The Christians and conservatives always have more kids. I think we'll go back gradually in a generation or 2.
And people are having nannies with like 2 children. I mean, we had nannies, but we had 10. Okay, that's a lot.
I'm sorry,
10.
but the force is always necessary. You can't take power without force. Nobody's going to surrender freedom. You have to take it by force.
No, exactly. So, yeah, it's an uphill battle.
No war was won by just asking for them to, you know, give up.
So if you equate it to something like, and I don't want to, you know, be controversial, the abolition of slavery, for example. Now, there was a lot of abolitionists actually active within the United Kingdom and also the United States before that happened. And I think people could see, you know, broadly speaking, there was quite a large swathe of the population who could see that this was inhumane and this was the wrong thing, right? The issue that you've got with feminism is that you've got at least 50% of the population who aren't going to oppose it in any form. In fact, they're going to support it. And that number is actually going to be higher because you're also going to have a large number of, let's say all the women supported it. I mean, it wouldn't be, but let's just say they did. Then you're going to get quite a large proportion of men who are also going to support it as well. So it's just never going to go through, is it? It's just not a popular enough thing. And I mean, Chase can sit there on Twitter and bang on all day about everything, but how are you actually going to turn the dial on that? You know,
the change is not going to happen in our lifetime. You know, the change will happen in our grandchildren's lifetime.
Well, sorry then. Let's go to Vegas. Let's party.
You know?
I mean, but this is the enjoy the decline argument, right? So I could say
it's like, what are we? If they're fighting for things to change, they're not fighting for things to change today. They're fighting for things that change 2 generations down the road from now. So our generation, lost cause. We get. That's what it is. But we could change for tomorrow.
So I'm coming to Vegas. Should we just fly out to Vegas now, and
Yeah,
then we'll
should
join
we-
you? We'll join you poolside,
should
Glenn.
we-
Yeah. You know. Just,
I mean, like, fuck you.
That'd be kind of fun. You want to
Yeah,
go?
yeah. Should we go? I mean,
let's find me a podcast in Vegas that can cover my
Yeah.
flight. I'm cheap.
yeah.
We're demonetized now. Send super chats because he's not.
It's good. The Enjoy the Decline in Vegas tour,
Yeah.
2024.
it's more like, you know, like, look, each individual has their own life to live. And I tell guys, like, look, hoes are going to be hoes. There's always been hoes. My complaint is, I just want hoes to stop complaining that they're treated like hoes when that's what they are.
Well,
Like, and guys, like, stop complaining that these girls are walking all over you like a doormat when you're laying down and being a doormat. Like, stop. Don't complain about the choices you make.
absolutely.
Yeah.